Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Man Always George Page, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, last night was a big, I think, with some upsets last night. I mean, well, and I think I got to eat some crow here. I did a couple of videos. I did a video where I thought pretty much I was certain that it was going to be predictable, the fights. Of these two fights was on last night on UFC 27 in Vegas. They usually do the fight nights in Vegas because you know, especially with the virus going around, and you don't want to be in too many places. They you've saved the pay-per-views for whenever they find a place where they can have a big crowd. But anyway, one fight where I was particularly sure that the outcome of was Carla Esparza versus Yan Xiaonan. And Yan Xiaonan is another fighter from China, mainland China. And Carla Esparza, as you also know, she's one of the original women to fought on Tough for the strawweight division, as it was started on that a few years ago. And pretty much a lot of people were assuming because it was Yan being maybe the better striker. If she kept the fight standing, it was her fight to win. And in my mindset, the Cookie Monster was going to get her cookies taken. I just made an assumption. But from information I see, it was the other way around. The Cookie Monster took Jan's cookies. I mean, the first round, already, you can see Yan Xiaonan got busted up. She got cut across the eye. So that means that Carla's striking got better. And, Carla was supposed to be predominantly a wrestler. And then once she gets Yan to the ground, on the mat, you just pound town for Carla Esparza. She just put a whooping on her. I mean, you see the little clock in the background. And, Yan just had no defense for it. I mean, she was just being, what was it? She was just taken to the woodshed. If you grew up country like I did back in the day, when you got beaten, you get taken to the woodshed. And that was happening to, I mean, she even, it ended second round TKO stoppage. And she did the same thing what happened to Valentina Shevchenko when she fought face and Jessica Andrade. She did a crucifix and she just dropping, pounding, top, and she's bleeding all over the place. And you see the background of the clock. It stopped around like 2 minutes and 2 seconds in the second round. And that's just, I was surprised. I didn't really watch the fight, because the fact is, ESPN has one of the worst streaming services, and I don't pay for streaming. They should have just put it on just regular ESPN, or maybe on ABC. Hey, come on, do that from now on. If you have fights, just put them on either ESPN or ABC. Don't put them on the streaming service. Get away from that, because whatever, all those $1 billion that Disney puts into ESPN, they need to do better. They need somebody new webmaster. And this was a big night for her. I mean, this is a 5-fight winning streak for Carla Esparza, for the Cookie Monster. Can you believe it? 5 straight fights winning. I mean, that's just pretty good, especially in May. Especially, I think she's, often there's that curse of tough fighters. After a while, they burn out. But, Carla hit her second win or something. And she's winning, but now she's on collision course with Rose Namajunas, who she beat in the past. And this is a possible, maybe I would say by the end of summer, maybe fall, we might see a fight between Rose versus Carla. And Yan Xiaonan is one of 2 fighters from China to, take a very bad defeat. I mean, her fellow countrywoman, Weili Zhang, she lost no more than about a little bit over a month ago to Rose Namajunas. No, it was pretty much about a month ago to Rose Namajunas, and now she really has to hit back in the drawing board. I mean, she needs to work on her BJJ, her wrestling. I mean, she really needs to work. And I think a lot of people had this idea that Yan was going to win, because one thing, she beat someone like Angela Hill, who's a veteran. She's like Angela Hill, and as Carla were part of that Tough when they started the strawweight division. There's only so many women left on there in the UFC that's part of that group of women that started with Tough. Felice Herrig, You got Jessica Panay. You got Rose Namajunas. You got, a couple others, Then she beat someone like Claudia Gadelha, who was a two-time title contender for the strawweight title. You know, the same opponent that Carla Esparza lost to, but kind of controversially. And then the fight her against Caroline Kovacevic. That fight, she just killed KK. I mean, just she messed her up. I mean, the girl still has issue with her eye. She had to get a plate put over her orbital bone. And there's not even sure she ever think about coming back. She might always think, go ahead and retire, start a family, start modeling or something. And, that was just a big thing. Caroline was remember, Caroline was a contender for the title. She fought her fellow countrywoman, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Carla has really hit a stride, And you know what? I mean, I just really, Carla. I mean, the perfect stage got best to me this one. And Carla's a wrestler. She's been wrestling for a long time. I think from high school to college. And then, she's a former Invicta champion. I think she was atomweight champion or strawweight champion. I believe she was strawweight or at one of the two. And wow, I mean, I just, and then she fought Rose Namajunas for the inaugural title. But what they should have done, they shouldn't have put that as, what UFC should have did, it should have had a tournament. After she won the title, after she won her contract, she should have had a tournament. Let's give her a title. What happened was it made her a target, and that's the thing is, when they did, same thing we did the flyweight division, they shouldn't have just gave Nico automatic a title. Should have just had a tournament afterwards, and then they, she faced against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and the outcome happened that fight. I mean, Joanna just beat her pillar to post. I mean, this was a fight where Carla, the Cookie Monster, got her cookies tooken. I mean, it was just I've seen the fight on YouTube, and I mean, it was just done. And then she kind of bounced back when she beat Cynthia Calvillo. Cynthia was been the next big thing. But then there was that fight against Claudia Gadelha where people were booing. No one was booing you, Claudia. They were saying boobs. I mean, you lost that fight. I mean, and that's why we keep talking about never leave a fight in the hands of the judges. And that's the problem is with the strawweight division, unless you're like Jessica Andrade or a couple of other fighters, they get too many knockouts. So, and that's why we often talk about CS Combat Sports. See, judges need to be either former referees, trainers, or former fighters. Stop using these guys who, eating salads and ham sandwiches and talking on the phone with their girlfriends. And then she had that fight against Tatiana Suarez, and Tatiana took her cookies. Again, the Cookie Monster got her cookies took. And the thing is now, Tatiana's no longer in the strawweight division. Imagine if she was still there. I think Carla wouldn't have got as far as she did. And George and Tatiana gone. I think she would have got as far as she did. I'll be honest with you. And then she beats Alexa Grasso, who now moves over to flyweight. And she beats a couple of fighters such as Marina Rodriguez, supposed to be the big prospect, and Michelle Waterson, for you Simp fans of Waterhead. And she bounces back. And now she's on the verge of fighting for a title, And, from what I saw, like I said, I don't do the streaming. All you got to do is go on YouTube, put in search, and you can find the fight. Save a few bucks, folks, And there's a chance that she'd be facing against Rose, the new champ, the new old champ, you might as well say. And some people say the possibility that Rose probably can beat Carla Esparza. She's not the same fighter. Neither is Carla. They both have changed. Remember, they started, almost 6-7 years ago when they went on Tough. And you got to remember, Rose was still a young girl coming up and developing as a fighter. And Carla, it's just up in the air by this fight. But like I said, congratulations to Cookie Monsters. To Carla Esparza, congratulations. I mean, you took Yang Janan's cookies. After the last few times getting your cookies took, it was your turn to take somebody else's cookies. Congratulations, Carla. I'm eating my crow. I have it with some fava beans and a nice kente. It's your man on the Red George page. Like, don't like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. I'm out.